thought the way he approaches his meetings, I'm like, man, this guy started off similar to you, where he grew this company himself. But I'm thinking, I'm like, look at the kind of shit that he's thinking of and talking about now. I mean, some of this might be a little PR, right? But also, I think he's being genuine and honest here when he says his approach to meetings. Odin, can you play this, please?
You want to set up your culture so that the most junior person can overrule the most senior person if they have data. There are little things you can do. So, for example, in every meeting that I attend, I always speak last. And I know from experience that if I speak first, even very strong-willed, highly intelligent, high judgment participants in that meeting will wonder, well, if Jeff thinks that, I came in this meeting thinking one thing, but maybe I'm not right. In fact, ideally, let's try to have the most junior person go first, and the second, then try to go in order of seniority, so that you can hear everyone's opinion in a kind of unfiltered way. Because we really do. We actually literally change our opinions. If somebody who you really respect says something, it makes you change your mind a little.
Right? And I listened to this and I saw this when he first came out, and I heard him say, I like to speak last in a meeting. I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty fucking arrogant. He just wants to be the big dog that slaps his dick on the table at the end, like, yeah, I said it, right? And that's it.
Wow.
Right? But
that's a view.
When you hear him break it down, you're like, oh, that makes complete sense. And it's interesting now, his view and his look, like, on how to grow this company, and he's implementing things to make sure that, you know, it's successful. And I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is when you move up the ranks in management, it's like progressive load, right? Like you start off knowing your job or your goal, right? And then you hire people, or your business grows, or your job gets promoted and you manage people. And then it's knowing your job and your goals and being able to teach these people and mentor them and lead them, but at the same time know how to motivate the humans that are around you. I mean, there's annual reviews and things like that. And then you go a step higher up and you're like in this mid-level management space, and now you're not doing that work anymore. Your job is not to do the work that you started in. Your job is to manage the people and the product, the output, right? Mm-hmm. You're now in charge of the macro going in and going out. And then you get into like this executive level management position, and it was not uncommon for me growing up to not be able to speak to somebody in my job. I wouldn't call it arrogance as much as it was just taboo to waste their time talking to you or whatever it was. I would get in elevators with other executives and they wouldn't even look in my direction or say a word to me. I was beneath them. They had their private parking downstairs and their private access and their high-end cars, and they were seen as people that you just could not connect with. And if you did, it was like, hey, how are you? And you were happy if they knew your name. And I always found that so fucking ridiculous. The reverence that people may have for you he's right, is that respect or fear. In a lot of corporations, it's fear-based. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to piss you off, so they want to agree with you. Right? Mm-hmm. They want you to like them.
Right.
So they want to say things, and every once in a while,
keep the status quo.
Yeah, it's very weird. So the farther you get in management, the more the human element really becomes relevant. Knowing how people respond, knowing how they interact, and there is a subset of people in the space who don't want to form a bond with colleagues that are their subordinates, because they don't want that bond to be so close that it makes it easy for them to ask for more money. Mm-hmm. Because that isn't in the company's best interest all the time to do. There is a subset of people who think the closer I am to you, that we feel free to speak to one another, and you feel free enough to even ask those kind of things, the more likely you are to be honest with me. I don't necessarily agree that that's more likely, but I'll say that he's right. I wouldn't characterize it the way that he would. I would characterize it like, if I walk into a meeting, I should be listening a whole hell of a lot more than I should be directing.
Right.
You pay great people to do great things for you. Mm-hmm. If you're running a division, you're running all the loans or lending, and you're on the underwriting side, and you're running the entire underwriting group, you're in the day-to-day. I may have done it for years, decades. I may know the nuances. You're in the job because I trust you.